Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for the May edition of the ServeNowEDU webinar series. For those of you who are returning attendees, don't panic. I know I'm not Trent Carlisle. I know that you're very sad about that. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kimberly Faber and I'm the Marketing and Multimedia Director for ServeNow. Trent Carlisle's out today, so I'll be introducing our presenter, handling any questions, and doing my very best to fill his shoes. This is our 5th ServeNowEDU webinar of 2016. All of our past webinars are recorded and can be found on ServeNow.com, YouTube.com, and you can now subscribe to these webinars as video podcasts on iTunes. Our ServeNowEDU is held live on the last Thursday of every month. It also features a wide variety of topics. Next month, we'll have North Carolina Process Server Association President Kimberly Hamilton here. She'll be discussing process serving ethical dilemmas and scenarios. That will be on June 30th at 3:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And you can register for that right now by visiting ServeNow.com and clicking on the EDU link on our homepage. We'd also like to invite you to register for the upcoming PACES conference presented by PSACO. That conference will be at our offices in Denver on June 11th, but you can also attend online. The conference is the Art of Skip Tracing. This is a one-of-a-kind event with database platform, demonstrations and walkthroughs, skip tracing basics, advanced techniques, and social media investigations. So make sure you get registered today. You can find more information on that event and register on the PSACO website at psaco.com. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. If you have questions, you can use the questions tool in GoToWebinar to ask them. If there's something pertinent, I'll bring it up and we'll address it during the webinar. Otherwise, I'll hold all questions until the end when we'll do a quick Q&A because our guests will be covering a lot of the information and a lot of the questions you might have throughout the webinar. We'll also have the slides, a recording of the webinar, and all of our resources presented in this webinar available in the next day or two, but you'll get an email with that link probably tomorrow, the next day at the absolute latest. So let's go ahead and get started. Presenting today, I'd like to introduce Kelsey Johnson. Kelsey is our online marketing coordinator here at ServeNow. Some of you may have had the pleasure of speaking with Kelsey during your website setup, during your local search optimization, or you may have read some of her tips in the Serve Report. Kelsey's an expert marketer in many areas from SEO and web design to social media and communications, and she's undoubtedly a valuable asset to our team. Today, she's going to be walking you through online local search marketing, what it is, why it's important, and what you need to do. So without further ado, welcome Kelsey. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Kimberly. That was a very nice introduction. All right, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey Johnson. I'm the online marketing coordinator and local SEO specialist at Logical, which is the parent company of a company that you might know called ServeNow, PI Now, and About Bail. I provide Google local optimization for over 100 process servers, private investigators, and other small business owners across the United States. I have over 2 years experience in online marketing, and in addition to local optimization, I do some social media. I do some mobile-friendly website design for simple, small websites, and I do some website content creation. Today I'm going to talk to you about local search optimization basics for your business. These are just the essentials. We don't guarantee rankings based off of this. The basics are meant as an understanding of your own online business profile. I'll go into that a little bit more. I know it sounds like a lot of buzzwords, but it's very important. There's a couple of steps that you can take for yourself, and this is also meant to give you a good idea for what your local search specialist, if you have one, is either selling to you or providing for you. There's a lot of people out there selling this product, and it's a good idea to understand what it is before you hire somebody. And then also there are a lot of ways that you can help your local search specialist once you have the product and just basically increase your business profile online. This course is targeted mainly towards small and medium-sized business owners. Beginners in online marketing can also benefit from the essentials that we're covering. So basically, We're going to get started here. Local search optimization, you've probably heard it. You're probably interested in it already, I'm sure, if you're signed up for this webinar. And but basically what it is now what Yellow Pages used to be. People used to get a big book of Yellow Pages on their front stoop. They would pick it up, they'd flip through it when they needed a process server, a lawyer, a doctor, and now everybody's looking for that online. They're all looking mostly on Google, also on Bing, and in a couple of other places. And so as a business owner, you need to be there. You need to be where your potential clients are looking for you. So I'm going to start off by explaining what local search is a little bit. Help me out with this by thinking of yourself as first a customer. So let's say you are a person, you live in Durham, North Carolina, or you're visiting and you want to find a Chinese restaurant. You go on Google, you go on your phone or your computer, maybe your tablet, and you search for Chinese food in Durham, North Carolina. What you're going to get is this search result that you're looking at right now. So what it is it's a map, and then a couple of listings underneath, and then underneath that we're looking at a Yelp link to a Yelp site. So what local is, what local optimization is, it's an online profile creation to make you into one of those 3 listings underneath the map. Might still sound confusing, but it has only a little bit to do with what is on your website. A lot of it is just the way that you appear online. So what we're looking at is a map of Durham. I'm seeing a Shanghai restaurant here. We've got some reviews going on. It looks like they have 4 stars. We've got an address here. There's a little note that says Chinese, which I assume means, you know, Chinese restaurant because we searched for it. And so basically this is the local search results. And these people, you might think that they have just sort of appeared here, but there's probably a good chance that all of these restaurants that have shown up in this search results have done this local optimization, because at this point you just sort of need to be optimized in order to rank for searches like this anywhere. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of what local search rankings are. This Yelp ranking underneath the map, that is what we call organic rankings. That has entirely to do with your website and what's on there. I'm not going to go a lot into that today, but you can always ask me questions later if you have more questions regarding local versus organic rankings. All right, so now let's go back to being a process server. Let's say I am a process server and I've got a example process serving company in Denver. And so I search for process servers in Denver, Colorado. I'm looking at a couple of rankings circled in blue. Those are our local rankings. We've got Denver Attorney Services, Process Server, Checkmate. My company is called Acme Process Serving Company, and it's not appearing up there. So what do? I want to be in these results because that's going to bring in more potential clients. It's going to have more, law firms or paralegals or individuals calling me to serve papers. I want to show up there, but I'm not showing up there now, even though I am a process server in Denver. So where do I start? What do I do first? What can I, as the small business owner of Acme Process Serving Company, do today? The first and the most important thing that you can do is get a Google listing. Now, those 3 little listings that we saw underneath the map, those are the front and basically the showing Google listing for this search. But as a business owner, I need to create or claim the Google business listing for my business itself, which can be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to walk you through it really quickly. Sign into your Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, then create one. Once you're signed into your Gmail account, you go to google.com/business, and you're going to see a screen like this one up at the top here on the right. It's going to say choose my business type. Process servers and private investigators and bail bond agents are service area industry businesses. So you're always going to click service area. Even if you have an office, even if people can walk in, you're still a service area business because you can basically bring your services to your clients. So click on service area, search for your business. If it's not already there, then it'll give you this little list of things to fill out. So I filled out my Acme Process Server Company. I'm at 3120 Blake Street in Denver. Put in my business phone number, 867-5309. I didn't know if you guys knew that was my phone number. Not really. It's just a joke. And then the category is process server. Now, that's always going to be your category. If you're a process server, if you're a private investigator, that will be your category. If you're not one of those two and you start typing in what you think would be your category and it's not apparent, you might want to do an online search for what your category might be or talk to a specialist about it to make sure that your category is right, because you want to be ranking for the right thing. You basically want the people who are actually need a process server to find a process server and not, somebody who's looking for computer services or something like that. And then you're always going to click this square at the bottom. I deliver goods and services to my customer at their location. And then Google's going to want to send you a postcard. They're basically trying to verify that you are not spamming the system and that you are a legitimate business. Obviously you are, so just have them send you a postcard. There's going to be a personal identification number in that postcard. It'll show up in a week or two, and then you can go back to google.com/business, plug that in, and then your business listing is live. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be ranking, but you are online at that point with a Google business listing that has the potential to start ranking. Now, this is absolutely number one, the most important thing to start doing at the beginning of your creating a business profile. I've got some bad news. If you work from a PO box, Google says no to that. It's unfortunate, and it's slightly biased against service area industries. I know a lot of my clients have had PO boxes, which work perfectly for them because they don't need anything else. Unfortunately, Google says that we can't do that. So just make sure that you find a location that's an actual house or office front for that. All right, so after you have a Google listing, you need to have a couple of other listings. You need a Bing Places listing, you need a Yelp listing, and you need a yellowpages.com listing. And the reason for this is people are searching in these other places for you as well. Maybe not quite as often, but they're going to be on Yelp looking for reviews potentially for you. Some people do search on Bing. It's far less common, but it happens. Yellowpages.com, the same thing. They have reviews. People are searching for you there. And it's important when you're getting started with your online listings to be listed in all of these different places: Google, Bing, Yelp, Yellow Pages. Get on there. And then the most important thing when creating your listings on these different sites is to make sure that your information is consistent and accurate. So that means if you are an LLC and your name is Acme Process Serving Company, LLC, make sure that that's how your name appears on every single site. If you want to leave the LLC off, make sure you leave it off on every single site. If you have two phone numbers, if you have a toll-free phone number and a local phone number, I always recommend that you use the local phone number. Google prefers that for their rankings. But even if you have a toll-free phone number, make sure that it is the same number on all 4 places and anywhere else that you have your business information online. Google is obsessed with consistency, and so we want to make sure everything that we put online about your business is consistent. Same thing with your address and your website URL, which is basically going to be www.mysite.com. Make sure that that is exactly the same everywhere that you list your information online. All right, so we've got our listings. We've got our Google, our Bing, Yelp, Yellow Pages. We've verified everything. Now we need a mobile-friendly website. I mean, the fact of the matter is that people are just searching for businesses on their phones now and on their tablets as well as their computers. Even lawyers are doing it. Even people who work in offices, everybody's just attached to their phone all the time, and Google understands this. And so in the last year, they have told us that it is the most important thing to have a mobile-friendly website. There's a test that you can do. I'll have a link to it in my resources at the end of this webinar, but basically plug your www.mysite.com into the test. Google will tell you whether it considers your site mobile-friendly or not. What you're looking at over here on the right is an example site of one of our mobile-friendly sites that we do. And so what you're looking for is, in addition to having it be easy to read on both a tablet and a cell phone and a smartphone, you want to have your information really prominent. You want your name to be up at the top. You want your phone number to be close to the top as well so people can find you there. If you have a call to action, which is basically a button saying contact us, make sure that that's right up there at the top. We like to have our hours up there so that somebody, the second that somebody has searched for you and has clicked on your website, they can see without even having to scroll, no matter what device they're on, all of the information that they need to contact your website and have it really apparent. This phone number's up here. The way that cell phones work now, if somebody just clicks on that phone number, it'll call you immediately. This Acme Process Serving Company example site has process serving up here. If I was in Denver, I would want that to say Denver Process Serving or Process Serving in Denver, Colorado, so that if a lawyer is calling me up or a paralegal is calling me up and saying, I need a process server in Denver. Oh, hey, look, Acme Process Serving Company. They're a process server in Denver. Here's their phone number. These are their hours. It's those hours. I will call them right now. Make it as easy as possible for your potential clients on every single device to contact you. In addition to that, for ranking factors, you're going to want to have what we call keyword-rich content. So we're talking about having all of your services on there. If you do court filing, make sure you've got court filing on there and a little bit of information about that. Skip tracing, make sure you've got your skip tracing section on your services as well. I like to have a section on there that says, why hire a professional process server? Because it has a lot of keywords in it, but it's also something that can be read by a actual person. Somebody can read that and say, oh, this is why I'd hire a professional process server. The reason that you want all this keyword-rich content is because the search engines are looking on your site for what you do, and they can't look at a picture and say, oh, this is a process server. But they can, the search engines can read all of that text and say, okay, this is definitely a person who's a process server in Denver, and that's what they do, and these are the services that they provide. The last thing that we always recommend is no spelling or punctuation mistakes. It's for the search engines prefer it, but it's also for just a general professional feel. When you go on a website, if you see spelling or punctuation mistakes, you're not going to think that that business is as professional. You might not think that you might, make some snap judgments, and we just want to make sure everything is professional. Have somebody look over your site really quickly that isn't you, that isn't, the person who wrote it, and just make sure that there are no, major mistakes that are showing up there. All right, so we've got our listings, we've got our mobile-friendly website. Oh, here we go. These are a couple of examples of the sites that we've done. So if you take a look at them, you plug them in this mobile-friendly test, and Google says, awesome, this page is mobile-friendly. As you can see, all of these have prominent calls to action. You can tell what the company's name is. You can contact them easily. You can get a free quote. Sometimes the phone number's right up there at the top. This is all very important, and we make sure on our mobile-friendly websites that we design here at ServeNow, we make sure that all of this is showing up both beautifully in a way that's very accurate, in a way that's easily read by the search engines, and also just easily read by your potential clients. Somebody's looking at your site on their cell phone, they can contact you easily, they can get a hold of you easily, and they know exactly what it is that you're doing as well. So there's some examples there. Again, I'll have a resources page at the end with this mobile-friendly website test if you want to try out your own website. All right, social media. If you are thinking about doing any of your own online marketing, you've probably gone online and looked at online marketing, and there are a lot of blogs out there and there's a lot of information out there about the kinds of social media that you need to be on and all kinds of different places and what you should be doing and when you should be tweeting and all stuff like that. But I'm going to make it pretty simple for you, especially if you've not spent a lot of time on social media or certainly not done any social media marketing before. Always create your Facebook page first. Facebook is the most important social media platform to have. And the reason for that is because Google finds it important. So we all have to bow down to the Google gods and say, okay, you want us to have a Facebook page? We'll have it. There will be a link in the resources for where you go. You should have you're going to need to have a Facebook account, but you can easily create a Facebook page, create a banner. In the background, you see we've got like a map with our logo in the background. You could just upload a picture of something that relates to what you do, maybe a road if you're a process server or a big gavel or something. There's some best practices that come to that, but make sure that there's a picture back there. Get your logo put in the front. Make sure your name is accurate. Make sure your category is right. So ours is internet and software. I think the closest thing for process servers is business services. You're going to want to put the exact same consistent information in that you put on your Google listing, that you put on your Yelp listing. It's going to ask you for your phone number. Make sure you get that same consistent phone number on there. You're going to want to put your address on there. They might have you verify it as well. Do a couple of other things on there. Make sure that that's set up according to your email address as well, because the other thing that Facebook does is reviews. So people can review you on Yelp, they can review you on Google, but they can also review you on Facebook. And so you're going to want to make sure that you have those reviews being sent to your personal email account so that if you get a great raving review, you can say, thanks, I'm so glad that you had a good experience. If you get a bad review, you can make sure you understand where the misunderstanding was, whether there was something happened that was within your control. You can usually make it up to the client that you have and talk to them about it. And just, you want to be contacting those people who are leaving you reviews. And if you don't have a Facebook page and someone wants to leave you a review on Facebook, they can. All they have to do is create a page for you. So it's pretty important that you create that page for yourself first, and then somebody else can leave you a review, and then you have control over it. If you like other social media channels, in addition to Facebook, if you got on Twitter early and you're a big enthusiast of it, or let's say you like taking pictures from the road outside of your window, maybe you should get an Instagram account. That would be kind of fun. Or, if you want to create a LinkedIn page for your business, that's great too. None of these things are as important as Facebook, and I always just recommend go for the one that you find the most important. If you like to be on LinkedIn anyway, you might as well create a page on there because you can promote it. But don't get bogged down with trying to do all the social media all the time. Just get into what you like and then spend the rest of your time marketing in other ways. All right, so we got our Facebook page, we got our other listings, we got our Google, our Bing listing, we got our mobile-friendly website. We're probably doing some optimization at this point. So what are we thinking next? Reviews. Now, reviews are the most uncomfortable and the hardest part of doing this whole optimization. But they're very, very, very important because people trust online reviews. They trust them as much as personal recommendations, according to a Bright Local study that was done 2 years ago. And so it's probably even more important now to do these reviews. People love stars. They love to see 4 stars. They love to see 5 stars. Even if they're not necessarily clicking on those reviews, they're thinking about them and their eyes are drawn to them. If we go back to that process serving results page, there was one with reviews that had those stars that showed up, the other 2 didn't, and people's eyes are being drawn to that company, that listing with more reviews. Now, I wrote a whole article about getting reviews and different steps that you can take. The most important thing to do is to reach out to your clients after they have a good experience and just ask them for reviews. It can be kind of uncomfortable. A lot of our clients are, law firms who are busy, paralegals who are busy, people who are in the middle of a court case. And the last thing that they're thinking about is leaving a review for their process server online. So we have to give them a little bit of a nudge. Send out an email after you've served papers. If they had a great experience, just say, hey, I'm so glad to work with you. I would love it if you would leave me a review. I'm here on Google, I'm here on Yelp, I'm on Facebook, whatever is easiest for you. And it can be frustrating because even if you do this, a lot of the times people still won't leave you reviews, and you just can't take it personally. You gotta forge on. And this is also basically the most ongoing part of this process as well. You should continue to ask people for reviews as much as possible going into the future. More is always better when it comes to things like that. All right, so we've got reviews, we've got our mobile-friendly website, we've got our Facebook page, we've got our Google and Bing listings, we've got maybe a couple of reviews starting to build up in Yelp. And the last thing that I'm going to mention that it really can't be emphasized enough, and that is provide amazing service. This is one of the best things that you can do for your online marketing, which is actually, kind of crazy, but if you provide amazing service to your clients, they're going to want to brag about you and, leave you a review or tell other people, hey, I had this great process server in Arizona. Definitely call them up. Lawyers are probably talking to each other about this and looking for you in that way. So, that's obviously the first thing, but also just basic stuff like answer the phone when you're out, when you have hours from 9 to 5, make sure you pick up the phone. If you can't pick up the phone because it's just you're serving papers, have a great message that says, hey, I'm out serving papers, I'm out in the field, I'll call you back as soon as I possibly can, and then call them back as soon as you possibly can. Make sure that you are just doing what you say that you're going to do. Communicate. Sometimes these things can be difficult, sometimes they can get expensive, especially I know this comes up with private investigators. Things can get added on, things can become more expensive, maybe that we need to do some skip tracing. Make sure that you're communicating with your clients and setting expectations properly so that they know where you are. Even if something goes wrong, they're still going to say, hey, that was an amazing experience. And, it's just overall marketing can only benefit from this kind of amazing experience. So, as a local search specialist, in conclusion, get listed online. These slides will all be up later so that you can have a look at this again. Get listed online, upgrade your website, make sure it's mobile friendly, make sure that search engines like it. Do your social media, ask for reviews, be an amazing process server, and profit. But if you want, you can hire a local search specialist to assist you with this and also do a lot more for you online in addition to these basics. So this is me. This is the Kelsey that you're going to be hiring. The reasons that you would hire a local search specialist is, first of all, a lot of times just doing these basic listings and doing everything that you can on your own it's not going to get you ranking. There's a lot of competition in certain areas. You can run into problems that you didn't know exist. There are lots of factors out there like duplicate listings or inconsistent information across your citations that your local search specialist will be able to find and correct for you, and it's going to take them a lot less time to do that than it's going to take you, because you'd basically have to become a local search specialist at that point as well. So in order to get ranking, a lot of times you are going to need some local optimization. Your specialist is going to manage your citations for you as well. There are a lot of upfront costs that can go along with this, maintaining your data feed. A lot of times, it's just going to be more expensive to sort of build out these more and more citations that you need to do. So you did the first four, you did the Yelp and the Google and the Bing, but sometimes you need a lot more than that so that the search engines really find you more important. This can be expensive. It's often wrapped into a monthly fee for local optimization, and you've got an expert. You've got a marketing and Google expert. You can avoid the bad practices. You can ask this person, call them up and say, hey, what's going on with this? Hey, I noticed that I was getting more calls. Did we change something? Can we change something? Can I do this? Is this going to be bad? That person is just going to be able to help you out a lot more with answering your questions about what's going on. It's a complicated business. It's taken me years to get it down. So, it's good to have an expert on your side when it comes to stuff like that. ServeNow's marketing products, we can help you out with this. We have the local optimization product, and we do the mobile-friendly websites. Our websites are very simple, and they're perfect for a small and medium-sized business. You do not need a super complicated website with, necessarily having videos or having all this kind of different complicated things on them, having complex forms. You just need this basic website that people can see what you do, see where you are. It's coded correctly, it's got great content on it, and it's the perfect thing for a small or medium-sized business doing this. Pairs really well with the local optimization. Our ServeNow listings, I won't go into too much about this, but ServeNow listings, in addition to getting you the business that they get, it's actually a very strong, what we call backlink. Now, this has to do with traditional SEO, website SEO. It can be pretty complicated, but basically, it's good. It's very good for your website rankings to have this backlink from ServeNow. ServeNow is has very high authority in the search engine. So if they have a link to your site, or we have a link to your site from our ServeNow site, that's going to benefit your local listing and your website in general. So these are our listings we have here. If you want to learn more, here's our phone number. And then our email address you can contact just to ask more about the products and about how they work together. Often it can be, again, very complicated business, but it's all still marketing, and we can answer all of the questions that you have there. All right, so I'm on Twitter at KelseyLogical. You can email me at info@servenow.com if you have any questions as well. And here's a list of our links, our resources. You can get onto Google, Bing. These are all sort of slightly different than the front of Bing or Yelp or anything like that. So here's a bunch of links for that. There's a great link to my How to Make It Easy for Clients to Give You Reviews article. That one's a really good one, I would say, especially since that's one of the main things that you need to do for your own online profile, and that your local search specialist only can go so far in helping you out with things like that. And I am going to send it back over to Kimberly and see if we've got any questions at this point.
Well, great webinar, Kelsey. I think that I even have a better understanding of local search, so hopefully all of our attendees feel the same way. We do have a couple of questions that have come in, or well, I guess it's two questions in one. Going back to what you were saying about reviews, what should I do if I get a negative review on Yelp or Google? Should I ignore it or should I respond? What's kind of the best strategy for that scenario?
Well, the best strategy for negative reviews is to respond to it and respond to it quickly. I would say just get on there and try to understand where it was that they went wrong, or where you went wrong, where the communication itself went wrong. So basically, get on and say, hi, this is the business owner. This is Kelsey from Acme Process Serving Company. I apologize that you had a bad experience. I hope that there's something that I can do to make this experience better going into the future. And I would also say that in addition to responding to it, be very positive, try to be very understanding and very humble. Absolutely don't attack the person who left the review at all, even if it seems like it was really unfounded. And respond to them one time and then let it be. A lot of times people will want to get stuff off their chest, and you just got to get on there. Anybody else who's looking at that review is going to see that you responded to them, and they're going to be able to see that response. Just try to take the high ground on that, and then just let it go. Another thing that I'll say is the reason that asking for these positive reviews is so important is so that in general you have more positive reviews from the clients that you had a good experience with, that this one negative review isn't going to mar your reputation, and it's not going to just necessarily show up as 1 star, because all you have is this one review from this one bad experience. One point further, I'd also respond to good reviews. Just get on there and say, hey, thanks for leaving me a review. I really appreciate that you had a good experience. Let me know if you need anything in the future.
Great, yeah, and one of the things that we kind of have recommended in the past is acknowledging that there was an error and trying to take the conversation offline, off of that review space, making sure that you're calling and following up with that person and they feel that their needs are being not only attended to, but also so that you can get the issue resolved, because sometimes in that case you'll see people who come back and will amend their previous reviews. So that's another tip that you can try that we've definitely heard some people have had success with. We do have another question piggybacking off of reviews. Is there a goal for how many reviews I should try and get in a year? Or would you recommend doing some sort of review campaign to try and get your customers to write reviews?
That's a good question. And to go a little bit deeper into the way that Google approaches reviews, if you get a whole bunch of reviews all at one time, a lot of the time Google can decide that they think that you are cheating the system. Google hates it when you cheat the system. Google gets so grumpy about that. So my suggestion is to try to spread this out over, if you're doing a campaign, maybe collect some of your favorite clients that you work with all the time, send out, I would say, 10 emails in the beginning per week to different clients requesting these reviews. It depends on how many clients you have on your list, but 10 emails a week is about what we recommend, because based off of that, you're likely to get maybe 1 or 2 reviews from them going over a process of time. Once you run out of those, I would say just send an email to everybody that you provide service to after that. So it's a good idea to do a campaign. I wouldn't just send out an email to every single one of your clients all at once, because you could get marked as spam. And also, people who are seeing your reviews online can sort of tell that that's what's happened as well. So
great. Well, the next question kind of takes it away from the review department, and it's a question about social media. I know that you mentioned, if you're into Instagram or you're into Twitter, focus on the platform that you like, but when it comes to Facebook, you said that it's pretty necessary. So how frequently should someone be updating their social media profiles and posting?
That's a little bit of a personal, it depends on the person, I would say. I think if you have a Facebook page, try to post something on there at least once a month. Obviously, the more that you post on there, the better. You can go into a whole campaign of social media marketing on Facebook, but I'd try to keep it alive by getting on there at least once a month at the very minimum. If you're going to do an Instagram or a Twitter feed or a LinkedIn or something like that, I would say that try to be on there a couple times a week at least. Twitter and Instagram, they're very live. social media channels. And so you're going to want to get on there at least a couple times a week and be posting stuff, be following other process serving Twitter handles or Instagram or other things that you like. Keep, you know, you can just retweet stuff like that, but make sure that that social media handle that you've decided to start stays alive. So that if somebody's searching for you, if they're trying to find you, if they are tweeting at you to ask you a question, then they feel like it's not going to be too long before you get back to them in terms of that. And that's why I say that you should only do that if it's something that you're actually interested in, or somebody in your company is actually interested in keeping up on. Facebook, you can be a little bit more lax about, because you'll get sent a notification if somebody writes something on your wall or messages you. But again, you can follow ServeNow on Facebook. We're posting stuff all the time, and you can just share that, and that can keep your keep your social media alive in a way that seems like you're online all the time, even though you have plenty of other better stuff to be doing, like serving papers. You know, we can't be on our social media handles all the time. Sometimes we also have to do our business, obviously.
Yeah, and if you're looking for people to follow, at least on Twitter, we do the top process servers on Twitter every year. But process servers in general actually have a really active community, both on Facebook and on Twitter, and even on LinkedIn. So whatever the platform is, there's definitely a community there sharing a lot of the information and the legislation that's changing, everything along those lines. So you shouldn't have any trouble finding other people posting great content. Our next question is kind of a segue away from local, but since you do have some expertise in search engine optimization, traditional SEO, I do want to ask this question. So one of the process servers, it sounds like, gets a lot of calls almost daily from people offering SEO services, also getting emails. Are they a scam, or how can you tell if it's a scammy service?
That's a really good question. They generally are. I would say if somebody's reaching out to you when it comes to something like that, they do tend to be kind of scammy. The first thing that I would do, first of all, if they're calling you all the time, this is a little trick my dad uses, can be very, very laborious, but basically pick up the phone when they call, don't ignore them, pick up the phone and say, hey, I'd like to be taken off of your list. It can take a while, but eventually you'll get taken off of lists. If you are wondering about the company and how legitimate they are, ask for their website. Try to get on their website and see if they can offer you, what it is that they're offering. See if their website sort of checks out, if it seems like a legitimate site itself. Another thing that you can do is ask them for specifics. Ask them specifically what it is that they're going to be offering you. Ask them, how long it takes. A lot of times they'll say that they can get you ranking on the first page in a week or in a month, or they guarantee first page rankings. Any legitimate search engine optimization company is not going to guarantee front page rankings, because it's not something that we can guarantee. It's something that we are constantly doing our research on the Google algorithm, and we are trying to reverse engineer it, and we're doing lots of research, and we're talking to each other, and we're trying to do everything we can to get you on that front page, but it's absolutely not a guarantee. So if you hear guarantee, that's probably a company that's, kind of a scam, but it's difficult to tell. I would say for the most part, if they are guaranteeing things and calling you up all the time, it's probably a scam.
Okay. So we had another question just come through. Does Google Business assist in managing your costs if you ask for assistance?
That sounds like we're talking about AdWords, which is something completely different. AdWords, I'm going to go back to this page right here. Above the blue square is Google Ads. Now, this is a whole separate subject that we could probably do a completely different webinar on. That's basically, instead of optimizing your business, or in addition, I would say probably in addition to optimizing your business, you can pay Google to put your company right up there at the top. They will assist you with that, but I probably won't go too much further into the specifics about Google AdWords because I am not a specialist in Google AdWords, and I definitely don't want to say anything that's wrong or give any advice that is misplaced. You know, you can do your research online and ask for some assistance with that, but I'm not going to go any further into that itself.
Sure. So there's a follow-up to that. So an example would be if you're getting queries from an area that you do not service.
There's a Google contact support that you can do. This is these complicated issues are always why it's nice to have a specialist helping you out as well. But you can actually contact Google support. You can have them give you a call back, and you can talk to them about the issues that you're having with your listing. They'll usually call you back within a day or so, and you can contact them directly. You know, their support is hit and miss when it comes to stuff like that, but they can usually assist you if you're listed in a place where you don't provide service. You can contact their support about that. Once you do have that Google listing, though, you are going to be able to look at your areas of service from the back end. You're going to be able to look at your own dashboard, and you should be able to change where you're listed in certain places. There are a couple of other issues that might come up. For example, there might be a listing that you don't have control of, but that has your phone number, and that's showing you in an area that you don't provide service. That's an issue that this Google support or a Google local specialist can help you out with. But yeah, it can be complicated to track all of those things down and make sure that you have the accurate information online.
Great. That attendee says, thank you. It sounds like you perfectly answered his question. I have another question for you about mobile-friendly websites. So the attendee wants to know, you talked about mobile-friendly websites and you showed what they look like on a phone or a tablet. How does a mobile-friendly website look on your computer screen?
The mobile-friendly website is going to look exactly the same as a regular website on the computer screen. The point of the mobile-friendly website is that it is responsive, and unfortunately I don't have an example in these slides of what the site looks like on the screen, but it basically looks the same except the screen is a little bit wider. And so you're going to be looking at, if we go back up here to our process server, our Acme process serving company, if you look at it on the tablet, that's about what it's going to look like on a website. It'll stretch out a little bit wider depending on, or on a desktop, sorry. It'll stretch out a little bit wider depending on the size of your screen. But it's always going to look, good when it's big. Maybe there'll be more information that you can see. And then the point of the mobile-friendly website itself is that it condenses and still looks good. And it's not having a separate website for mobile. This can be a little bit confusing because for a few years there, you would open up a site on your phone, and if it was a desktop site, it would ask you, do you want to go to the mobile version of that? We've sort of moved away from that recently, and so it's more of just a website that's coded properly. It looks like a regular website, you know, hopefully good looking, has lots of that great content on it. But then when it is condensed into that cell phone version, it looks small. So if you're looking at this screen now, it's going to look mostly like that tablet version over there on the left.
Okay, great. It looks like those are all the questions that we have. Just lots of thank yous and a couple of ha-has at the jokes that you shared with us during the presentation. So I'll just take this time to thank you all for attending. All of you will be receiving an email tomorrow with a link to a summary of the webinar and the slides and the resources, and that's where the video will be, which we usually have up within 1 to 2 days. You can also visit servenow.com and click on the EDU link on the homepage to get past recordings and sign up for future ServeNowEDU webinars. Thank you all for attending. Kelsey, thank you so much. You were such a great presenter and we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kimberly. You are no Trent, but you are a good replacement.
Thank you. All right, well, we'll see you all next month for Kimberly Hamilton's presentation on ethics. Thanks, everybody.